I'm a huge fan of this show and of Sunny, and I've also been moved by Wrexham not being a soccer fan at all. So I really enjoy your the stuff that you make. So I wanted to put that out there. I wanted to know kind of how when Ubisoft approached you about making the show and you initially turned them down, kind of what you thought this industry was, and then I know that you realized that wasn't what it was, but kind of what made that shift happen for you?
Yes, it was twofold. One of the reasons was because I didn't have a great interest in video games, number one. Even though I played them from time to time, it wasn't my passion. And number two, I realized it is a very fickle and rightfully so uh, fan base, and they will smell inauthenticity, and that's the one thing that you cannot get away with. If people feel like you are pandering or inauthentic, they will let you know. And I think that actually spans most industries and most forms of entertainment. And so I felt like, nah, it didn't seem like the right fit for me. And then I went and visited Ubisoft and I walked in, and within 15 minutes of talking to people, I realized, oh, this isn't a show about video games. It's a show that has to pay homage to the industry. It has to be respectful of the industry, but it's a show about an office and about workplace dynamics. And that I understand. And that every human can understand because the vast majority of us, if we're lucky, have a job and we have people who we work with every day. So we can connect with that. And I knew that I could write about that.
Well, I think that one of the great things about Mythic Quest is our jumping off point is the incredibly massive and creative games industry and the huge fan base that art form already has, which is, that is so it's so rich with story to tell that world. But at the same time, we are ultimately a workplace comedy, and I think that you can relate to the show whether you love games or whether you just love that genre of comedy, which personally I do. I wasn't a huge gamer before. I'm like you. I wasn't a huge gamer before I started working on the show, and that world has definitely begun to interest me more and more since making Mythic Quest. But I also think that the thing that drew me to the show right at the beginning was the fact that it is one of those, found family comedies with so much heart, and it makes you laugh out loud. And I think that it's really fun to see how broad our audience has become because of that.
My fans, they don't acknowledge me out of respect, I think. And I don't acknowledge them, but they're there and they're rabid.
As soon as you said my fans, I was like, this is not going to be serious.
You've been a part of as a voice actor for so many games throughout the years, and this show kind of puts you front and center. And we've had such a great journey for your character on the show. But I was wondering if you can relate anything to like the first time you saw a game with your voice in it, and
Mm.
to kind of mirror that journey for the first times on the show here.
It's really weird. Like the first time yeah, I'm trying to think. I think because my first role in games was Tiny Tina in Borderlands 2. So, um, yeah, hearing my voice come out of a blonde 13-year-old girl was very bizarre. But then it's equally bizarre sort of seeing yourself on camera. You're like, oh, my face does that, huh? Oh, is that what my hair looks like from that angle? Interesting, but it's kind of nice because I think you get desensitized to it, and then I can kind of now I've gotten to a place where with voiceover I can kind of assess my own performance in a way that I think is actually constructive. Like I can hear something and go, okay, I think I remember that recording session. Either I should maybe think about approaching it this way in the future, or maybe like, oh, that worked, I'll do that again, kind of thing. And now I feel like I can approach on camera stuff a little bit more in that vein of like, oh, that kind of thing really works for this character. And maybe that thing not so much, without it being like, what's happening? Why is my face like that? Yeah,
Why is your face like that?
it's a question for the ages.
Yeah, and for you, Megan, as a writer on the show, how is it to have someone like Ashley to actually go and just ask how did you do that on that game? Or
Oh, yeah.
well,
She's an invaluable resource for us, not only of information about the industry, but just having been a lifelong gamer, like for the opinion of your average gamer, like how do gamers feel about this thing? What do they like? Actually, hearing Ashley talk a lot about monetization, I think part of that led into us making your character because it was so clear that you as a gamer were like, oh, I kind of hate when they like over monetize games. And so then we were like, well, that'd be so funny if like what you ended up having to do based on your love of games and what you were, not only did you have to do, but what you're the best at,
Right.
which is annoying and
Yeah,
ironic.
right.
But yes, we turn to her all the time for recommendations and kind of like what's going on in the industry as a whole.
whenever you read the script and get to see what they're going to get me to do what exactly, because there are so many moments on the show where your character especially goes bananas. So how is that?
It's so exciting. I really love it. It's pretty rare that I flip through the script and it's just like, and then you're gonna walk into an office and say some things. And like this season, I had so much training to do. I had to do horseback riding training. They had to make sure I knew how to swim. I had to have a dialect coach so I could do a British accent for our episode 4 murder mystery. And I got to speak French. So I get to flex a lot of muscles that I never anticipated in an office comedy.
Yeah, and I'm loving that character for sure. And Naomi, for you, you're kind of more of the one of the few grounded characters on the surface, at least. But you also get to do some crazy stuff this season. So how was it to kind of go on that journey?
I read it and I said, Carol's crazy. I was like, it was very exciting, unexpected. You know, in season 3, I was in the writer's room, but I wasn't in the writer's room for season 4. So, you know, at least in season 3, I knew, you know, I was part of some of the decisions and knew what was coming. And this time it was very fun and exciting to just get the script and say, oh, you want me to do what?
And for you, Imani, this season, your character really gets to like finally have the recognition that she deserves. So how was it to play that arc out?
Finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was excuse me, so much fun. Just looking back at the evolution of Dana in season 1 and seeing who she is now, and it's just like it's just like an actor's dream to, you know, like play with the dark side and like toe this line a little bit. And just like get my hands dirty, and of course like I'm partnered up with Brad and Joe this season, so they're just like they're just such fun, well developed characters, and that, you know, they have this like villainous like energy to them, and so Dana's sort of inspired by that, and she just, you know, finds her own backbone, and yeah, it was just great for me to be able to stretch myself and lean into that in season 4.
Well, Charlotte obviously has some, you know, Poppy and Ian are the heart of the show. So they have
Yeah.
some dramatic scenes, which I would not want to be in. So I'm so glad that they do those. But, you know, I've worked with Rob for obviously many years, from Always Sunny in Philadelphia to here.
Yeah.
Usually that working relationship starts with Rob calling me up and saying, I have a part for you. And then I find myself in some form of humiliating dress or makeup about, you know, 3 months later. But no, it's always a joy to work with friends. And we really have a great time when we're on set.
Yeah, I love getting to explore that dynamic between Poppy and Ian with him, because I think we're both so committed to finding the truth in that relationship, and we love hanging out as well. So we're always having fun on set. Having said that, there's always, as you say, David, there's always like one scene every season where both of us are crying. But I feel like I couldn't ask for a more generous scene partner when it comes to portraying that sort of thing in the show.
I know that you guys haven't started to shoot yet, but I also know a lot of fans are waiting for that final the movie. So when will that finally happen? Do you have any news on that?
No news, no news. A lot of enthusiasm, a lot of hope. That's what I can offer you today. You know, put on your felt goatee, keep chanting 6 seasons in a movie, 4 seasons in a movie. Let's keep this going here.
Or 6 seasons in a movie here too.
Yeah, I wish I had more news to share, but we're excited when it will happen. I believe it will. I just don't know when.
How is it to kind of write for yourself, since you do that a lot on both Sunny on this show?
It's so much more fun to be able to actually grow and learn and change. And you know, Sunny by nature, it being the satirical program that it is, we can't ever learn or grow or change. So that's really fun, but it doesn't allow for the character to maybe do anything significantly different like we can with Mythic Quest, because we wanted to create a real human being. So to watch as this person finds out more about himself and modulate that between changing the character too much to where it feels inauthentic or fake has been a really delicate dance, and one that a challenge that we've really had a lot of fun with.
Yeah, and just a few days ago, Joseph Fares, a game creator, announced his game Split Fiction that will have no monetization. You just get the game, and I instantly thought of this show, and we're like, oh, wonder how they would react to
Brad
that.
would not be happy.
Like, are you an idiot?
Rachel would be like, "That's awesome," and then not have any idea how it works.
Yeah, right.
Like-
How do they make money? I don't understand. So it's just like how it used to be, right? Where it's like you pay $60 and you get a game. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
For now. Just wait, though. Just wait. You're missing out on a huge opportunity. That's Brad speaking. I think that Brad would be shook. He'd be shook. What do you mean no monetization, no microtransactions? Like, what we're
Exactly.
missing out?
Also, Jessie, like you starred in one of my favorite shows of all time, Better Call Saul. And these are so different projects, but can you find like similarities or anything that you maybe learned on that show that could be used here as well?
Oh gosh, that's such a great question. What's so funny is it's the costumes. Like I learned so much from working on Better Call Saul about how to stand and how to like go through certain fittings. Like it's really bizarre little things that an actor picks up on, but like the way that a sleeve should fit. They were so detail oriented on that show, and I feel like it's really helped inform how I like to dress on camera as a result. So yeah, like weird things like the way to tuck in your shirt. They taught me to put my fingers down in the front and then swipe them around to the back, and it just makes you look like you're standing up straight. But other than wardrobe specific things, that was such a wonderful experience, and I feel like it just helped me have more confidence. And working with Bob has always been really fun, and so I feel like it just informed me as an actor, and so of course the confidence is translated over to the show.
Yeah, from Bob to Rob.
Exactly. Yeah, well put.
Thanks a lot for taking the time to speak with me today, and also that dance sequence scene on Sunny is one of the best I've ever seen on TV. So thanks for a lot of great moments.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the support. You got great taste.
Thanks. Bye.
Not by me. I mean your movie references back there.
Maybe both.
Yes. Thank you.